and while I could. But I'm not just trying to do this by myself. It takes people and community, police and community to make changes. That's how Belmont and the Village changed. And Mr. Thomas Long, rest his soul, told me, he said, the day you change Belmont and the Village, I'll kiss your face. Now you don't know how many times before he died, I wanted to go by and say, can I get that kiss? But he said it couldn't change. And that's why every night, I pass by, if it's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to check something at the church and coming back. And I look down Belmont Village, where I look down the village, or I look down Belmont Street. I said, did you ever tell me I ain't never done nothing accomplished? I said, look at the blocks and tell me that is an accomplishment. And it's a sustained accomplishment. It can happen anywhere else in this town, but it's going to take people and police working together. And I don't mind if you got to get something off your chest, get it off your chest, so you can breathe, so your blood pressure go down, and then let's go to work. Because it's got to be done right, or else I ain't going to have nothing to do with it. But to sit and argue and debate, that ain't me. Man, look, I'm trying to keep blood pressure down. Cholesterol too. I ain't got time to argue. But we can work some things out. And that means we mutually agree that there are problems that need to be worked out. So I'm here to hear from you tonight. And I mean, look, let it rip. I mean, sometimes only the question that's bad is the question that you didn't ask. And if I can answer it, I'll answer. If I can't, I'll go find the answer and come back and tell you. Yes, ma'am.
I know we were talking about a lot of people doing the trauma informed,
yes.
Like the officers getting trained in that.
Yes.
Do you know of any other trauma? Like I know they are like taking them for bake racks and things like that, but are they doing any trainings with like de-escalation at that point, other than like before it gets to the point of being like a bake rack?
See, de-escalation is a bug. Okay. CIT training is nothing but de-escalation training. Okay. And all of our officers, when they come in the front door, one of the first classes they're going to take is the CIT training. It's called Crisis Intervention Training. Okay. And even with training we got coming up, they're going to include de-escalation in it because people got to hear the buzzword. You know, sometimes you can say you can have as much as you like. Some people want to hear you say, I want to know I can get it for it. It's just a play with words. But you can't fight your way out of all your problems. We can't shoot our way out of all our problems. We can't arrest our way out of all our problems. And that's something that every police officer is trained. You are not going to be able to do that. Matter of fact, you're going to find that when you check, most officers don't even get into a shootout with nobody during their career. You're going to find that out. That's a statistic they ain't going to go and dig up. Because that don't help prove a point. I done had some close calls. I ain't never had to shoot nobody. But you know what? Every time I go to work, my primary goal is to go back home to my family. And that's whether I have a call for you or anybody else. I want to go home. You know, I look at all those heroes. They got monuments in D.C. They got them in Thailand. I want to be on that. I don't care if they don't never recognize me for that. But it's my calling to do a job as a police officer, and I understand the risk I'm taking. But at the same time, it's got to be a balance. We don't go out here looking to shoot nobody. But at the end of the day, when they say comply, comply. If they're wrong, we can go back. We can do an internal affairs investigation. Matter of fact, we give year-end reports on what our internal affairs investigations, what they look like in a portfolio. All that information we have given to the NAACP, we've given to people who ask for it, they want to know, we tell them. But the thing about it, if there's something else you think I can do that's going to make people feel safe, I need people to understand that there's two sides to a story, and at the end of the day, you got to be protected as well. Whether you committed a crime or whether you're the victim, you got to be protected. And if you take those tools we have to do that, and take that away, I'm telling you, you think of the recruiting problem now? You're going to have a recruiting problem. Because who's going to want to go out there and take on the risk of getting shot every time you go to work? And even now, you hear stories about guys that show up off duty and they wind up in the middle of something. I mean, it's a lot broader than what's being discussed, but I understand the emotions. I understand when people don't understand. Trauma is something that a lot of folks are dealing with, and they don't know they're dealing with. Some people got a problem with authority, and it comes back from something happened in their childhood. And I think that even the research that Harvard did about the implications for trauma for policing, that's why we engaged in the trauma-informed care. We're partnering with Children's Home Society, the Lakeview Center. We're partnering with them. We're trying to figure out ways, how can we, even if we run across somebody and divert them to your services, how can we do that? So there are systems that have not traditionally worked together. They're being forced to work together. You can't afford to have something erupt in a school and you have a major riot at school. You see what happens in other schools when it happens. So now they're afraid to take police out of the school. But we're not just in there for crime. Those guys, most of y'all look like y'all young enough to have had a DARE officer. You probably still remember your DARE officer by name. Those are positive impressions. And even the officers that work around the athletes, when those athletes know they're their officer, and their officer is approachable, he can pull up on a call, and they say, oh, I gotta go. Yep. That's just like somebody in the neighborhood that has a relationship can pull up and say, I know you ain't up here cutting up. Oh, no, man, I ain't cutting up. I'm headed home. My neighbor could tell me to go home. That's the kind of relationship the families have. And sometimes coaches and teachers and even law enforcement can be that extended family. But you got to get to know them. You got to know that they got kids out in these schools too. When that young man got shot at Burger King, my son was in school. Matter of fact, he was in Pine Forest when they said that there was somebody was going up there the next day to shoot. So I'm not immune from any of this stuff. My daughter was at Pensacola High when they was out of school just about every day from a bomb threat. We're not immune from any of this stuff. And if you don't think we're sitting here talking about the what if, so it's crazy out there, but it's not something somebody can just come up on a snippet and just explain it. Now it makes all the world of sense, because there are people out there going to grab that and they're going to use that as an excuse. So there has to be accountability, 360 degrees. That means, yes, I'm going to be held accountable for what I'm supposed to do. Officers got to be held accountable, but the community got to be held accountable. And when people break those customs and laws, there has to be some consequences. If they're not, what's going to stop them? So that's why, it's a lot we do. It's a lot. Training is now a half a year long academy. And we can't, even now, in the council meeting, you hear them talk about how many vacancies. We're trying to get these folks trained as fast as we can, but there's a process. And they got to pass the state exam. They got to be state certified. Then we put them through a training program so they know what we expect of them when they hit them streets. Because it's not Candyland. It's not where you get to learn as you go along. You got to be competent when you hit the streets. And anything less than that is not acceptable. But at the same time, when I'm looking at them, it's almost like looking at this young man right here. They're young. They're from different generations with different generational values. You know what my young folks worry about now? They want to know what their job is, and they want to be specific. Tell me exactly what my job is.
Make sure they get paid for everything.
Because they want to make sure they're getting paid for that. And they'll tell you in a minute, I ain't getting paid for that.
I don't do no training.
So now, then they want to know, okay, I want my time off. That's my time. And they want to know when they can take their leave. So when you come up and start talking about, well, where's your loyalty? They're going to say, my loyalty is first to myself. And some folks that have been around a long time can't handle that. They used to throw overtime at everything. Man, they don't want no overtime. Just pay me my money and let me take my time off. I got things to do, people to see, and places to go.
That's all right.
I mean, that's our current generation right now. So when you out there talking to them, you can still talk about what SWAT do, man. I ain't worried about no SWAT. How much I'm gonna get paid?
When I do the number, it do better for me to stay right here.
Okay.
I
So we dealing with a lot of changes, but there's some values from the community they need to constantly transcend, and they're not compromising. Okay, we got to hold those values. If we don't, then crime gets more and more out of control. And you know, yesterday the county requested for assistance from the city as I was getting off from work. The incident over there on Aquamarine Drive, it was huge after the homicide. So where's the voice of reason? Where are our community members that say we're in leadership? We're gonna, you know, they're not out there. And like I said, if you're not out there, it's easy to be told what happened. But this is something that I think is a dangerous signal that we need to really take heed to. And yes, people need that. People need counseling. Trauma-informed counseling is not just for the kids. Yes, kids need it. It's traumatizing for a child to watch their parent get arrested. We know that. We understand that. And that's why a lot of times we'll try to get a parent to step outside, be cooperative. Yeah. Because that child, no matter whether you were right or wrong, that child is going to suffer from that. And the other thing I ask parents not to do, don't use me when you can't control your child. When your child is in the store and you say, I'm going to get that officer, put you in jail, that's not, don't make me your boogeyman.
Yeah.
Because then when he or she becomes a victim, I need to talk to them and they're looking at me like, yeah, right.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then that's why I say sometimes we gotta learn how to separate the audiences. If you want me to talk to the kid, let me talk to the kid. I can work with kids real well. If I'm gonna talk to the adults, let me talk to the adults. But when we start blending these conversations, it's dangerous because now I know what to say when I need you on my side. Well, mommy called me the N-word, what you expect? Oh, blood pressure just went up. Mommy just took me out and slammed me against the car, kicked me all in my face. I mean, your blood pressure, you sitting there looking at him, a scratch on his face, but your blood pressure shot sky high. Because just a thought that they could have done that to your child will stir up your emotions. But that's why I say it's a task that I know we can do together. But if we ain't working together, it's going to be hard. So that's why I'm going to do what I can while I'm in this position because it's critical, it's important. I think it's an opportunity for Pensacola to get over some things in a positive way and move forward and not keep going back and inflicting the same wound over and over again. Because, you know, that's a whole topic by itself. Trauma-informed care is getting healing from something that's got you in bondage, that's got you bound where you can't really function from day to day. They've been talking about it, they call it post-trauma stress syndrome for people coming from the battlefield. But trauma happens right here in neighborhoods when people are trying to deal with impoverished situations. So that's why it takes a holistic approach.
It's just from war, but it could be any traumatic event.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like I said, a child, matter of fact, one of the parents passing away is traumatic for a child. Or when parents go through a divorce, that's traumatic for a child. You know, and even when people get married, they already have kids, there should be some serious counseling there because the new step-parent got to understand you can't replace the other parent. And when you try to exert your authority to do that, you're in a bad situation. In general, what you'll do is put the other parent in an even more stressful situation because now they got to choose between who they're married to now and their child. And that's not a fair, that's nothing fair about that. So that's why I say a lot of times counseling, people think this is just a bad stigma, but if you need counseling, you need counseling. You know, and we need to make it such a widespread thing that there's no shame associated with it. If you need it, you're gonna get it. So, but I mean, I hope this is helping somebody, because it, like I say, it's complicated because we got people involved and we got more people working against each other than working with each other. Any more questions?
No more questions?
Come on, Cindy.
Well,
Got some?
I live in Montclair and not far from Aries-Boulevard, and we have had so much trouble trying to get police officers out there to try to have some type of community gatherings and everything, you know. And that's why we don't have a lot of support. And the children, when they see the police officers, they're scared because the police only come when there's a problem, you know, as far as coming around. I hate it when they're harassing people, and, you know, I don't know how to fix that problem because we've called Sheriff Morgan and tried to get him to come out to things, and he doesn't show up. He'll tell them that he's coming. And I've heard the children often say that, and I know they said it, the police officer will tell them they're not coming back out there unless somebody's lying on the floor dead. You know, because a lot of fights go on out there. A lot of times they come and they respond, but they take a long time getting there, the response time. So by the time they get there, all the fighting and everybody is gone. So I guess they got upset and said, hey, don't call me unless somebody is lying on the ground. So the kids don't have respect for the police out there. So this is in the county, of course.
So that's difficult for me because
I know.
I'm a city police chief, and even if I could come out there a day, that's one day.
I know. I just.
Well, I'm gonna interject this.
So,